We are live. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the December 2nd Hangout. We're trying to get a couple things set up really quick. Just with a couple things, we have some special guests on today, and so trying to get everybody set up and in here. But good morning, welcome, and excited, super excited about today. Let's see. Final things to do really quick. While I do that, I'm let Frank. You should be able to see him shortly. Actually, just going to present him to everyone. There we go, Frank, and I'll let him speak really quick. So,
Did you want me to talk about the community, I assume? Okay, well, so a couple of things just to go over. There is a product release announcement on the community. If you haven't been there the past couple of days, you're going to want to go check that out. It should be high up in your news feed. It includes video, and I won't go into it. I don't want to steal your thunder, Eric, but it does include video of Kelly Christensen, a product manager, and Dan Stoll explaining the overview of a new feature that we're going to go into today. There are links to help files and release notes there about it, and Dan is working on a blog post about the new feature, and I'll add that to the community as soon as we have it. It'll explain how to use the action, although I believe we're going to go over that today too with Eric. The December mission is out. It's a little bit of a gift exchange. What I'm asking people to do is to tell me the 3 most valuable posts that they found we're planning on doing that. So your point, a new way of accumulating points. So we're looking forward to that. And not to get
Hello?
stealing your thunder. Thanks for
nah.
your time. I'll be checking the community, and if we get to any questions today, Eric, I'll post your comments about what we say there. So, see you on the community.
Awesome. Whoa, what happened to you, Frank?
I'm here.
Okay, good deal. So hey, we have Tracy on the line as well. So Tracy joining us from the Draw Loop team. Now I'm part of the Nintex family. Glad to have her on board as well. And we're going to get into a couple of things and then definitely do an interview so that you all can meet Tracy also. Before that, so InspireX, that's one of the things we wanted to talk about really quick on InspireX. Most of you all do know that we do have our first user conference coming up. That is InspireX, and that will be in February. Special news, and I'll post this out there for you all. I have a code, a registration code that we're going to be using, and the registration code is Hangout 15. When you register with the Hangout, you can definitely, let's see here really quick. Yep. When you register with the Hangout, you can do register for the Hangout, register for the conference. You can do Hangout 15, and that will allow me and a couple others to track who's registering, who's listening, who's responding from the community, and that will we got a special prize. You actually be able I'm doing some live hangouts from the conference, so that'll get you a front seat or a chance to actually win a front seat with me live at InspireX. So that'll be awesome, as well as some other cool things that we got coming up that I can't share with you just yet. But definitely when you do register, use Hangout 15. You get the early bird special on that, so that's $400 off. So that's something really great. Well, let's see here. What's going on really quick? Let's see. All right, there we go. Cool. So that's something to look forward to also. Um, Next thing, subscribe. Nintex channel, we're doing a lot more updates. Nintex is doing a lot of things here, so you'll want to subscribe to the Nintex YouTube channel so you can see videos such as this, as well as some other ones, product updates and things coming in the future. And follow me on Twitter at eharris04 on Twitter. That will find out questions. I actually had a couple people hit me up with questions today, so I do appreciate that, Raphael, and some others. So thank you all for that. One second. So while we're doing that, I want to introduce Tracy really quick. Let her. Um, let's see. So Vince is on the line as well. Awesome. Great. We have a couple of people out here. Let's go ahead and introduce Tracy to everyone present. So Tracy, everyone will be able to see and hear you. And we'll get started with a couple of questions really quick if I can get this thing to work. There we go. So Tracy, you are now live in front of the entire world.
Thanks,
So,
Barry.
hey, no problem. But Tracy, I'm actually gonna let Frank. Frank had a couple of questions for you. So we'll see if we can do this. I'm gonna mute myself, let Frank talk. We're in the same room, so it's getting a little bit of echo. But I'll let Frank ask a couple of questions, and then we want to roll into the product. So go ahead, Frank.
All right. Well, Tracy, if you can hear me, I know that as Vice President, and I think you're still Director of Engineering as well. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
My question for you is basically about the doc.
Sorry, I lost you there. Nope. Still not hearing you. It's
All right, can you hear me, Tracy?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so we are probably pushing the limits of what YouTube and Gmail will allow. Shouldn't be, but we are. Let's see. So I know he was asking about with your role, why DocGen?
I'm sorry, did you say why
Why?
DocGen?
Yeah, why DocGen? So why document generation in the first place? I know it's something that you all have done within the Salesforce ecosystem. What took you all down that route as far as building a product?
Well, when I joined the company, we were already doing DocGen. When I started, the foundation was for a very niche use case, which was for the life insurance industry, and Vince can talk to this more, but Drawloop was already doing DocGen in a large way when I came on board, and so I helped build the product within the Salesforce ecosystem along with our team here.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, awesome. Let's see. Should be prepared for more questions in this. Within the Salesforce ecosystem, I mean, I have to ask, what does that look like? I mean, most of the people that are listening on here today or that are watching, that will be watching this video, are Nintex. They are very familiar with the Microsoft ecosystem and how Nintex works within SharePoint. What about this whole Salesforce thing and with Drawloop? Like, what does that look like from your end?
As far as
just the ecosystem,
describing it to the Nintex audience.
Yeah.
So the Salesforce ecosystem is made up of enterprise customers, small, medium businesses that are looking to, store their data for their customers and maybe their specific use cases. Salesforce allows their customers and their partners to build not only custom applications, but it's really a platform for development, and customers and partners alike can build on the platform for themselves or to share out with other companies on Salesforce App Exchange. That's basically where companies can list applications that other Salesforce customers can install and use.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and it's something that we'll have to do a good job with helping to what do you call it? Helping to educate a lot of our Nintex partners on the Salesforce ecosystem and you know how it is similar to SharePoint in some way, but then it's also very different in how people just leverage and use Salesforce. So that is one of the things. So we do appreciate that. And I mean, what you're doing with the product over there is awesome. We've had a lot of people, you know, just the amount of support and then just leveraging a lot of the new things within the draw loop for that side of it. We greatly appreciate your leadership on that. So really good. The next question that I had on that was I saw an update on Draw Loop. I think Jim posted that out on Yammer. Do you have any insight on that or what that update was? I don't want to blindside you on that, but is there any information that you can share on that? You know what that update was about?
Yeah, no problem. We had an update this November, this past month.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the exciting new features are support for Office 365 documents as template files in what we call a DDP, which stands for Dynamic Document Package. So within our Salesforce application, you can build DDPs, and part of those DDP, the makeup of a DDP is the template documents. So those are the documents that have placeholders in them for the data that needs to be merged into your document. So now, in addition to using documents stored in Salesforce, you can use documents stored in Office 365 for those templates.
Okay.
On top of that, you can push the generated document back into Office 365 as well.
Okay. Wow. So that gives oh, sorry. I think Vince, you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say that the cool thing about pushing it in Office 365 too is now once it's there, just like anything else you can push into Office 365, you can leverage an Nintex workflow to route that for approval or whatever business requirements you have, you can now leverage as we push that document into Office 365.
Cool. Wow. So that should light up a lot more kind of process automation and things for that ecosystem within Salesforce, and then also leveraging the new product. Everybody's getting ahead of me. The new product in for the DocGen. No, I'm just kidding. It's almost really exciting to have both of you all on there, and I'm trying to coordinate some things behind the scenes. Let's see, Frank, are you good with the bandwidth now? See if we. All right, let's see.
And I think just to add to Tracy's comments earlier about, you know, she came and she's been a valuable part of our team in building out our Salesforce product. But our ultimate vision, our original goal was we wanted to make document generation easier. And then there were ways you could do it. You know, if you were sophisticated enough, you know, the only options you really had was a mail merge, and you had to have a data source or you had to have an Excel file in order to sort of do document generation. And then there wasn't really much options out there. And what we saw is, especially our founders, they came from an industry, financial services, where a person's job, an analyst would literally take, you know, 4, 8 hours or days to generate a document. And our vision was if we could take that down to seconds, that could revolutionize what an individual company could do. And so that's why we do document generation. We want to make it easier to do the exact same thing you're doing today. It's going to just be faster. And just two other comments on ecosystems. I think you know, we've primarily been focused on the Salesforce ecosystem, but our goal in whatever ecosystem that we're trying to get into is we're transparent. It's not. We don't want to change, and again, it ties into our original focus. We don't want to change how you're doing business today. You're going to use the same documents. You're going to use the exact same Excel file. You're going to use the exact same PowerPoint file. It's true in Salesforce. You're going to work inside of Salesforce, and we're almost transparent to the entire process. You're using the same buttons. You have the same interface. You're just leveraging our technology in the background.
Awesome. Awesome. That sounds Good. That is definitely something. I mean, and for partners that are out there listening to this, definitely something to be aware of. And as we continue to go forward with adding more and integrating more with the draw loop into the Nintex family and things like that, definitely pay attention to the updates and things we have. We're trying to do this increase how you and how users and customers can use DocGen, document generation, and workflow together to really create powerful solutions. So with no further ado on that, let's jump into I guess the one of the purposes of this hangout being the new release that came out. Most of you all have probably seen it yesterday or the day before, but the new release, the DocGen in the Nintex workflow. I am going to try to find my screens so I can share them so everyone can see them. Uh, let's see if I can spark this up really quick. If you went into the SharePoint Designer or SharePoint Designer, wow, Nintex Workflow Designer, you would have seen scene 3. Let me get my screens working really quick. There we go. You should have seen the What's New page. So I'm actually going to pull that up, and yeah, I have some people fighting me over saying SharePoint Designer. But you would have seen the What's New page. Hopefully this will pull up because I shouldn't have gone into it before, so it should show the What's New page. It doesn't. No, I skipped it. All right, so there's a way to do this. Let's see what's new. There we go. Here it is. So made some changes since the last time you've been here. Yes, we have document generation. So this is the new feature that has been released by Nintex inside of Office 365. Do note this is not available on-prem. We are working on that. We've had some people post questions about that already, as far as being able to do some kind of document generation on-prem. But within this is an Office 365 offering. If you have questions and stuff, obviously use user voice. But you can read right here. It says, document generation action lets you create a workflow to assemble highly formatted Microsoft Office documents. So those are Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you can convert those using the action. Convert those to PDF if you want to, and you can use data from SharePoint and databases such as SQL Server. The really cool thing about this feature, and I say the really cool thing about this feature, is it takes the automation. Imagine mail merge. Everyone, hopefully, if you've been around computers for a while, you've seen mail merge. Imagine mail merge on steroids. And that's probably not even doing it justice because there's a whole lot more that goes behind it. But that's a simple way to explain it. Mail merge on steroids. That's what this is, and it embeds it right inside of your workflow. So it's not like you have to go do something completely different. A lot of us have workflows that include process automation, approvals, things of that nature. This now can be embedded right along with that process to create a completely new way to generate those documents. And I'm trying to find where my screen is so I can show you. Let's go here. I'll actually just bring it in. So we have a workflow that I've actually started working on. If I can get myself gathered, there we go. And it's a site workflow that we started working on that actually does the DocGen. And let's do site workflow and import this one in here. And here it is. So cool. So you can see we have a couple of things here. Query list. So it's supposed to query a list, log some information, history, and then for each document in that list, we're going through a conditional branch, logging some information to history, etc. And I'm not going to complete this one here, but ideally, and then you get down and you see, wow, new little icon here, DocGen. You're not seeing it. Oh, you're not seeing it because I'm not presenting it to everyone. Awesome. Let's see here. Let's present that to everyone. Why am I not share that? Alrighty, so that was on me. I do apologize for that. So here's a workflow. Everyone, you heard me talking about it. Now you can see it, right? So it's querying a list, and the list that it's querying is a list of products in a customer list. So it's querying a list of products, and based on that, it's going to compile an invoice. And that invoice is to put together some information for users based on what they selected of what products, etc. And it can go through and create tables out of that. I will actually work on an example of this demo. I'm not going to do it live here, and there's a reason why. I'll tell you in a second. But I'm not going to do it live because I don't want to hit my quota. But I'll do this and actually put this on the community so that people can do it. And then Dan Stoll also has a blog post that he's working on as well that'll be coming out. But let's see the great new feature that is available. So if you type, and apparently type that incorrectly, so I call it DocGen, even though it's called document generation. If you start working with these things a lot, you start giving them short names. But DocGen or document generation, this icon right here, I'll just drag it in so you can see it. That's the icon that it's the action. It's the brand new action. It's awesome. It's great. It's exciting. But what it does is it allows you to be able to find a template and reference those templates, so you can actually have pre-built templates that have your styling, your branding. It may have, if you have a logo or whatever on there, those templates are, what you use today as normal, and that's why I said it's mail merge on steroids. We've seen it before with labels and things like that, where you do mail merge. Is very similar to that concept, where you take your templates, and then with this action, you can actually use another nice little feature that came from the Jarloop family. Thank you all for that too. The tagger. So it's the document tagger that gives you the ability to actually pre-tag your template with information that you want to pull from SharePoint. And I mean, that's just enabling you to be more automated. So with that, no further ado, let's get back into that and see what this thing looks like. For that, let's see, share and present to everyone. All right, so here's the action. I'll just double click on it again. One or the other. Both of them should work. So here's the action here, and let's walk through this action. So one of the first things that I noticed and it popped up here is document generation trial quota for 050 use. Before I go any further, let's just mention that with trials, so this is something that is nice about the trial. We allow you to actually generate documents right out the go. But with the trial, do know that you get 50 up front, so that is something that is available. You can only generate 50 documents per tenant per trial. So that is something that, and basically what that does is it prevents someone from just basically going out there and wiring up 10 million documents and or errors or whatever, and then just really pulling down the servers and things like that. So we do have COGS for this, so there's another thing for that. We are being charged to generate these documents, so that's something else that, I mean, just to be mindful. The DocGen will allow you to do that. If you want to buy DocGen, I've told you all before, I don't discuss pricing. I don't do that because that's not my role or my job. But we do have territory managers that are available, or contact your Nintex partner for more information on this, as far as what is a pricing set, etc. I can tell you that we do have two pricing models, just for small and then for large. So those are available, but I will leave the selling to the people that do the selling best, and I will simply be up here to actually explain it. So let's get back into that. To use this action, you have so it says the template document library. That will pull or read any of the document libraries, and this is scoped at the site level. There's a reason for it being scoped at the site level. That allows, it prevents, if you have document templates in one library and someone else has document templates in another library, if this action were to pull from anything within, say, a site collection, you could potentially open up and change someone else's template, and they're generating documents and they're like, why are these documents looking different? Is because you're using them for a different purpose. So to prevent that, we've left this scoped at a site level, so that is the smallest level at the site level for that action to read template libraries, or libraries where documents can be housed. So the first thing you want to do is actually select your document library template. I actually don't have any templates pre-built, which is bad. I've been running around trying to get all this stuff done. So let's see if I can do this right here. Wait, Nintex thought about that already, and they put in an action to create new template. Well, thank you there. So that's really good. I knew that. I just wanted to play that off like I didn't. But no, they have an action there, create new template, and that will allow you to generate a new template, either Word, PowerPoint, or Excel. So I'm going to push this button. Word. Nice. This is getting better by the minute. So we're going to call this a Hangout template. And I mean, this is all right from the action. You're not having to go out and do something, open up Word, etc. You're doing this right from the Nintex Designer. And then we're going to hit Create and Open. All right, let's see if this thing works. Launch application. Yes, I do want to do that. I'll figure out where it launches whenever it finishes. Let's see, where did it launch? My office. There we go. Bring this back over here. So one of the things about launching it from, well, I have to sign in. So I'm going to bring this over here. Is asking me to sign in. Can't see it because I'm not sharing that screen. Give me 1 second to log in and actually present that to you all. This is good. It's actually, so there's authentication required. If I can get this over here. All the demo guys don't like me. There we go. There we go. So try to get that working. So here is where it is actually asking me or prompting me to log in. And of course, I failed to log in correctly. So I'm going to try that again. Edit in Word, launch application. And there we go. So it should authenticate me, or it asks me to authenticate. What this is doing is basically from Office 365 is actually prompting, because it's wanting to make sure that I have access or proper permissions to do this. And I actually logged in with the incorrect password the first time. TXTE8. So that's why it threw that error. So I realized that on the second go. And let's see if I can get in here. Wrong password again. Oh, I know why, because that is actually not my user ID either. This is bad on a demo to be doing that. I should have had this pre-built. Why not? All right, let's try this one more time. But so while I'm struggling to get into this demo, it is with this, it allows you can see that it allows you to actually access Word or whatever it's pulling in. The reason why we're wanting to do this from the action is that it allows you to reference the tagger without having to go to the store, download it, or do anything like that. It's pulling it directly from the template and the action. So at some point it will allow me in here. It allowed me in, except I didn't have anything built. How lovely is that? So let me do something else real quick. So one of the other things that I do know is that you'll want to create, before you do your template, you'll want to create variables, and the variables are what you want to use in your document tagger. And so I'm doing my entire demo so out of order. But you'll want to create your variables before you do that. The other thing about the action that you can see here is the ability to, you can either keep the same file source type or source file type. That is, so if you're in Word, so your docx, you can have docx. It'll reprint or regenerate a docx. Word, PowerPoint, Excel, it will generate that in that same format. Or you can have it converted to PDF. That's really great. You can also input from one document library and output to a completely separate document library. So say, for example, you have incoming invoices, you want to generate them and then do outgoing invoices. Or you can generate from a template document library. So here's your templates, and you want to generate 2 invoices. So grab my template, generate it per item that's being created or invoice being created, and output to my invoices or outbound invoices library. You can choose a different library here to actually output to. That's really good because now it gives you the ability to track those. And then the file name. This is, again, Nintex, the power of Nintex. Gives you the ability to create different types of naming conventions, and you can do these statically, you can do them, or dynamically in this case rather, where depending on the customer name, you can add the customer name, or you can add the date that it was created, etc. And then the workflow is actually going to generate those as it's running and run that. You'll notice this little thing right here, enable logging for quota alerts in the workflow history. That's the key thing. My recommendation, and I'll probably log this one as a best practice, even though this one just came out. Best practice, leave this enabled. What this will allow you to do, remember I said you have a quota of 50 for the trial. that means that you don't know what you're doing, or you're not really sure about the process, and you want to see how this document gets generated, or you maybe even running this in production, you're having more advanced workflow, etc. When you're running this, you don't want to have to click into the workflow or go somewhere else or do something different to see how many do you have left or how many do you have remaining. You'll want to see that, and you can see it in the workflow history. That's a really nice thing to do. So when the workflow runs, you can quickly go to the history and see, okay, that workflow ran and it hit one additional quota, or it took one additional document that was generated, or it took 5 or whatever. So you'll see that, and you'll see the numbers. Two numbers I'll throw out there. It's 1,200 and 24,000, I think it is, 12,000, 24,000. You'll see those numbers. I'm just throwing that as a hint. Definitely, again, for pricing, contact your territory managers or your Nintex partners for more information on those, and that will help. So I will keep working on trying to figure out how to show the document tagger, because I did not do that correctly, and it's so cool. So I have my variables here. Um, Actually, I'll ask a question because I don't have to always be the expert. We also have Jim, or James Robertson, on the line. Goes by Jim. I saw him join. Let's see if I can get him to present really quick, and I'm going to get with Tracy and Vincent to figure out how to get this other thing working while he's talking. So, Jim, you are now being shown live to the entire world.
All right.
So, welcome to the Nintex Hangout. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you helped found DrawLoop back in the day. Give us a little bit of background behind that, and why you're doing that. 2001, thanks to Frank. 2001. But tell the Nintex community about that a little bit, and while you're doing that, I'm going to try to get this other thing working. So, have at it.
Happy to. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everyone, for taking the time to join us today. We're excited to see version 1 of Nintex document generation going live. A little bit of background on myself. My background historically has been in financial services. So when we started DrawLoop, we really focused primarily on compliance-heavy document creation scenarios. So the good news about that is we attacked probably one of the tougher verticals around footnotes, disclosures, compliance, multiple document formats, and from there we extended our platform to the Salesforce.com Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, CRM platform. So really have expanded with our API now into the Nintex Office 365 SharePoint world. So that the best way to think about document creation from our perspective is you need, on the front end of that, you need data. So that data can come from an unstructured list or be pulled in from other systems of record. Once you have that data, via workflow, you can now connect that to generating your documents. Once those documents have been generated, then connect those to other business processes. So whether that's a simple present the document and download, have that document route to a third-party e-sign service, workflows for approval on those, check-in, check-out type of contract lifecycle management needs, and or have it stored for document repository purposes. Really that front end of data and that back end of delivery has been significantly enhanced and expanded with having DocGen now part of the Nintex workflow environment.
Awesome, man. That's that's exciting, and I am still presenting. Okay, there we go. No, that's exciting, and man, that's going to be huge. And what's my next question? That's going to be huge within that. For those that are trying to get started with the DocGen, and what is a good use case when using document generation? What would be a good use case that you could say is like, this is one of the ones that you've seen over and over and over again? Invoices, sales contracts, proposals. What do you think is a good use case for that?
Yeah, we break it down into 3 categories. The first category is when you look at your documents, look at what's customer facing. So customer-facing documents are things like proposals, quotes, contracts. Those type of documents can be very basic, very complex. The good news is we provide with both the workflow and being able to pull data from various spots, the ability to do that. Second form of documents is what we would call an internal business document. So you might have scenarios where you need to generate and visually represent data in a specific format, and again, have that routed and delivered. That could be things like sales pipeline forecast reports, could be internal summaries of support tickets, other types of internal forecast type documents, and then the final type are what we call consumption reports. So examples of consumption reports might be you've got an internal meeting, either with a stakeholder team or maybe externally, you're visiting the customer and you need an account plan summary. So again, setting up where's my data coming from, where do I need to pull that in to get that data into a document to visually represent the information, and then finally, after the creation, where do I need that data to go out? So a common example, Eric, we've seen on the consumption side is using document generation to visually represent data in a very robust way, but also a powerful way because you allow a business to have their business analysts, sales ops people build out that reporting and document generation as opposed to having it be a huge programming project.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot. All right. So no, we do appreciate that. That's a lot of insight. Now, again, Nintex partners, as you see this, or even users as you see this, keep those things in mind when you're looking at generation. A lot of those things that are customer facing. Don't recreate the wheel, and definitely, how can you increase integrity in your documents, and then also efficiency. Instead of somebody going in there having to go look in the CRM system to try to, pull the customer record and type the address in, or pull, make sure they got the right quotes. The other thing, everybody's mobile today. Everybody's on a mobile device, doing everything. Really cool thing that we demoed back at WPC. Yes, WPC was, or Dreamforce. That's what it was, Dreamforce. We had a Nintex app, so Nintex form running. We were able to connect into Salesforce, drive information, and then generate right there on the spot from a mobile device, and generate using document generation DDP inside of Salesforce. On this one, we were able to generate a order or an invoice right there on the spot. So if you can think about those type of concepts where you might have field service representatives or someone's out there doing a survey, etc., and you need a signature on it, or say for example an invoice, you want to do something like that, you can generate that information from the Nintex form, which is really cool, and then shoot that information into Office 365 using this new document generation action. You can actually generate that and have that document sent to, say, DocuSign or some other e-signature thing, or just have it sent back as an email attachment. Now and then you can get somebody to approve it, send it to a VP or whoever, get them to approve it. So you have, it's almost like the sky's the limits when regarding these things. So definitely keep those things in mind, and it's going to open up a lot more doors, and help with automating. Again, the whole purpose is to help with that business automated process, make those more efficient, better, and more productive, so that you can actually go about doing what really matters and not sitting down doing these mundane things that we've all done them before. So with that, I do want to say I was successful at getting some things done. But Frank, yeah, go ahead and let's see. Actually, I think we have to get this thing going. Frank had a question for you, Jim, so I'll let him go ahead with that.
Well, Eric, hopefully I'll give you a chance to work on the presentation you want to do to continue your demo. But Jim, I just wanted to ask you a couple of quick questions. One, when we released the product announcement, it talks about how this new action will help ensure consistency and accuracy in people's documents, and I was wondering if you or Trace.
Yeah, happy to speak to that. It goes back to what behavior do you want to drive in your end users. So document generation at its core, back to system of record and your data. So if you automate document generation, the byproduct and advantage of that is you're now instilling and ensuring a behavior in your end users to only be able to generate that document from data that's accurate, up to date, and put in the proper system that you want that data put into. And as Eric described, that could be from a Nintex form, allowing you to then push that data into the system of record, or pull that data depending on your use case. But that data quality and compliance is a very powerful benefit to automating document generation. So you not only get the productivity of automation, you also at an enterprise level get data quality and compliance to drive behavior you want out of your end users, rather than letting them download, create documents on their desktop. And often what you'll find is the most up-to-date, accurate data is in that quote because they were able to manually enter and manipulate the document on their desktop. We want to change that behavior, create a business process and a flow to that creation so that they no longer are downloading, manually updating documents, but rather doing that from a business process productivity tool. I don't know, Frank, if you can hear me. I went silent on my side, so hopefully you could hear me.
Yeah, it's weird. We're having bandwidth issues over here. I'm good, but he's not. So what was the question again? Let's see if we could. Gotcha. So it's yep. So all right. So one of the things that Frank was asking, I think the audio is actually really dropping. Well, one of the things that Frank was asking was more use cases around that in dealing with DocGen, and you have to say you can actually come over here and ask it, Frank. Yeah. Yep. So yeah. So okay. So actually,
Yeah,
just come over here and ask it. So make it easier.
I think I heard the question. I could hear you, Frank.
Apparently, I'm having issues with bandwidth over there. So I guess the follow-up question I had was for either any of you, James or Tracy or Vince, if you wanted to give us another use case, because we talked about the accuracy, and I'm wondering, where else does that matter for potential customers?
Anybody want to take it?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that one. So another one is really depending on how you deliver it. So I know one of the Nintex actions is to send it to an e-signature service. So if we look at contracts and where we have sensitive, we have legal language that you don't want your end users touching. Again, to Jim's point, if you're going from a system of record into a document generation process and sending that directly through an Nintex action to an e-signature servers, the end user never gets the opportunity to actually see that Word file, and so that protects the languages in that document. And again, not for anyone's maliciously going to go and make the changes, but it could be an error. They could actually delete a paragraph that's in a vital paragraph that needs to be part of that contract. I think there was also a mention of potentially what's down the path of our product. We've taken step one into integrating with Nintex and the Nintex action, and it's a great step, and it gives you a lot of features that you have today. But as we look down the road, one of the things we've built into our product is this whole concept of packaging. Tracy mentioned that earlier. So today we have one document, and that works great, but there's also scenarios where you have multiple documents, and even within those multiple documents there will be times and scenarios where, say, you have disclosures, and based on the state that's been entered through the workflow, we want to pick the appropriate disclosure and include that in the document. So those features are definitely in the near future roadmap and will be added into the Nintex actions.
Okay, awesome. We do appreciate that. That's definitely insight. So as you can tell, it's just not one action and then we're done. We're actually looking ahead to figure out better ways to, again, continue to increase how users are using this and automating workflows, document generation now being a part of that, and business productivity. So, and thanks, Vincent, for heads up on the roadmap stuff. So we do appreciate that. So I was able to get the tagger to work correctly. So let's bounce back over and present that so you can see that. Have my workflow here. I remove one of the other actions, and I also loaded in a template because it's better to have things pre-built sometimes. But I also loaded in a template to let you all see that. So this will actually show, it's already open. Of course it's already open. If it's already open, I'm going to close it out so that it'll do it, and you'll see how this thing runs from the workflow action itself. So here I have the template here, edit in Word. There are some things you have to do to trust. It's good to click this button, remember my choice for all links of this type. That's really helpful so you don't get prompted every time and look like me doing this live on a demo. But you'll want to smoothly roll this thing through. But it's opening Word, as you can tell, and it's small. But here we go. All right, so this little thing right here was the thing that I was trying to show you all earlier. It is the Nintex document generation tagger. Let's see if I can make it bigger. There we go. This is like sweet. It's awesome. It's something that users should use unless you're super intelligent. And actually, let me not insult anybody's intelligence, but unless you're really smart, you want to like do code, etc. Use the tagger. You don't have to, but it's easy to do it. If you had, say, a lot of paragraphs and things you want to input, account, contact information, etc., you could simply type in, caret, or less than, name, greater than. You could do that. That is possible. So we're not saying it's not possible to do that. However, trying to make sure you don't misspell a variable here. Say, for example, his name / first, and you misspell and you put frist, for example. If you do that and you generate a document, that's not going to input data from your workflow, and that creates an error, and it does burn your quota. Don't do that. Use the tagger. So remember earlier I said that you need to create your variables before you do your template. The reasons for that is that it then pre-populates into your tagger so that you can just simply drag and use them. So I have my cursor here. I'm going to take this back a second, and I'm going to input the date. Oops, I just messed that one up. Back I can, because my computer's running slower. So I'm going to input the date right above it. So here, actually, date's up there too. But just to show you, I'm going to click date, and I'm going to insert tag, and it does it. It's not rocket science. It's not difficult. It's not crazy, but it's easy. And easy is always great. Easy is always really good. So if you have your template already set up and you're wanting to just format it, remember, create your variables, and I'll show you how to do that really quick. So let's go back out of here. Variables is up at the top. Right-click, variables. Create all your variables that you need. I can actually create a new variable called Hangout Test, and that's a text variable. So save that. So create your variables first. Then go into your action, and you want to configure your template. So say I needed to add a new Hangout test. I forgot I had it open. Of course I do. One of those things about, again, just keeping everything there. So let's do that again. So we want to regenerate that so that it pulls in the new tag. Open it in Word. Remember, I checked the box so it shouldn't do the launch application again. Again, making these things as easy as possible. So it's going to open that up. It's going to give me my tagger. Thank you. So tagger's there. I then should be able to see my new, there it is. Wow, really great. Hangout test right there. And now I can bring that in, insert tag, and say, for example, I wanted to add that in as a special thing for all the people that are registering with Hangout 15 for the InspireX conference. You get the Hangout tag in your invoice or your receipt. I wanted to adjust this to do that. I can do that on a fly now. I can go back and just simply save. I'm using Office 365, so I don't have to do anything else. Save and close. And if I were to run this, so this is now updated in this action. So if I were to run this and hit save here and run this workflow, you can tell that that action is actually completed. If I were to run this workflow, it would actually run an update with that new variable being injected into the template. And so those are things really simple, really easy to use, and we'll have way more content coming on. We have product demo videos, Nintex Learning Center. We will have links out there for how to use that as well. Video content, like I said, on the community. Dan Stoll, the one of the TEs here, is writing a blog about it, and that's going to go into some details as well. And I'm also going to be helping to present some things on the community for that. So, I mean, we're hugely excited about this, and I know I kind of butchered this demo a little bit, but it's better than what I showed you. That's the best way to put it. It's a lot better than what I showed you, but we're excited about it here in Nintex because, again, this just brings way more productivity and functionality to the workflow platform, and it gives you the ability to do things before you have to use things like DocuSign and store your templates out there to do things, etc., or even in like Dropbox, etc. Now you can actually leverage them right from Office 365 and generate those. So create the template, add your metadata to it or your tags to it using the document tagger inside of Word, and then generate that using the workflow process. You can do it for approvals and things like that. So you can have your document kind of approved. Here's the content, approve it. Then the last step could be generate the DDP and email it out to somebody. So again, automation, process improvement, and why not? This is Nintex. We make your jobs easier, or at least that's what we endeavor to do. And we know somebody's going to build some crazy complex workflow with this thing, doing 5 or 6 different types of templates based on whatever document path, etc., or whatever approval path. So those are things that are possible. But this action is available for you. You can go into the Nintex Designer, and you should see that in your tenant. So that is something that's live right now today, and we're excited about that. We do thank everyone who did tweet me. Try to see if I can go out here and get see who asked a couple of questions on Twitter. A couple of people actually did. Actually, Fernando sent me a link on Twitter for the Hangout. Remember the Hangouts, we're working on a couple of different things on the back end. The Hangouts are available in the Nintex community on the unanswered questions page. Actually, let's just go there really quick so that you can find them. So we usually do that on the archive, so that you can see those live. And this is going to be kind of weird because this may show live. So it's going to show me talking to me. Oh, I gotta log in. How lovely. Passwords don't like me today for some reason. This is really bad. But there we go. Awesome. So right here you can see live. It is actually showing live. It's a little delay on that, but it's showing live. So if you ever want to, you want a link or you want to find the Hangout, that's one way that you can actually go to and see it live. You can see us live. You can also go to the Nintex YouTube channel. We prefer you to go there. Obviously, you can see more videos. Why not? And see other Hangout videos as well. But you can also go there and subscribe. So when you subscribe, you should be getting notifications or updates saying, hey, here's new content, etc. And we're just wanting to get you connected into the products, into the actions, and into what's new and what's coming. So with that, I know we're nearing an end. I want to thank my 3 special guests now. Heroes over there, they're down in Irvine, California area. So I definitely appreciate Tracy, Jim, and Vincent for just stepping up and being a guest on the Nintex Hangout. If you have any questions for them, you definitely hit them up on the community or email me and I can get them the question. Not sure how we'll work that out, but they're here to answer questions, and they're excited to be a part of the Nintex family as well. We're excited to have them bringing such a value-added asset to the workflow platform, and also just helping us open the doors to do a lot more workflow and things in Salesforce as well. So be on the lookout for more of those things coming. Partners and customers, we're trying to make this stuff work for you. So we do appreciate you on that. I am seeing if there's anything else that I was supposed to say. InspireX. I gotta keep pushing InspireX. Don't forget, registration is open, and early bird ends soon. So get your tickets now. register. We have a list of speakers. We will have the content, so who's actually speaking, or the sessions, whether those will be coming out soon. Our actually marketing team, the entire marketing team, is in an offsite, so that's actually kind of cool. But they're finding ways to make the brand better, and not better like it's bad, but better, and I mean even more, so that people are more aware about Nintex, who we are, what we do, and how they can leverage and use it. But InspireX is coming, so you definitely want to get registered. I can say this: don't wait till you see the sessions to come. It's going to be great content. Just register. Go ahead and do that. Use Hangout 15 as a registration code. Again, it gets you early bird discount, and it gets you into a running to actually do a live hangout with me on the spot during the conference. Which, I mean, that's going to be awesome as well. So you can be live to the entire world. So who wouldn't want that? But yeah, was that? Oh yes, and I can't forget that the Tech Dog wrote the workshop. That's the pre-day workshop. I'm actually going to try to pull it up really quick, because it would help if I'm actually talking about it and you can see it instead of seeing me. So Nintex.com right here. So we're going to go to events, and here we go. So yeah, the pre-conference workshop with Tech Dog. This is to help anybody that wants to do the Workflow Pro or Workflow Admin certifications. This session will help you do that. It'll help you understand, the basics around Nintex workflows, Nintex forms, and mobile. How to use them. What are you doing with them? Now we have the DocGen piece in there. How do you actually leverage that? What benefits are there to doing Nintex workflows versus, say, SharePoint Designer, or even Salesforce, or workflows in another system, etc.? Why not use the design? Why not use Nintex, etc.? So that workshop will definitely be beneficial for you all, and it's $495 value. I mean, they're throwing it in. Register, come to the pre-day, and be a part of that. Also, register, and use Hangout 15 when you do register, so that we can know who's coming in and who wants to hang out with me live at the conference. But no further ado on that. I do appreciate everyone for being a part of the Hangout today. Again, thanks to the three guests, Tracy, Vince, and James, or Jim. Call him by his preferred name, Jim. Thank you all so very much. I really do appreciate it, and thanks to Frank as well. Even though we had some issues, he's still over here smiling. But thank you all for what you all are doing. And until the next Hangout, stay safe, stay good, and happy holidays to everyone.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.